On a quiet night in Bethlehem, when the world seemed completely unaware that history was about to change, love entered the earth. It didn't arrive with noise or with power, but with a simple, steady heartbeat. In a borrowed stable, Mary felt the pain of labor. There was no grand palace to welcome her. No golden crown rested on the child's head. There was only straw, the soft sounds of animals, and the steady, trusting breath of a young woman who had given her entire life over to God. Joseph stood nearby, overwhelmed and silent. He was a simple man who had dreamed of building a simple life, not carrying the weight of a divine mystery. But love held him there. It was love for Mary, and a deep, trembling obedience to a God whose plans were so much greater than his fears. And then Jesus was born, not into comfort, but into closeness. Not to the sound of applause, but into quiet humility. Not into a world of wealth, but into a world of love. The King of all heaven chose a manger, a feeding trough for animals, so that no heart on earth would ever feel too low or too broken for him to enter. That night, heaven itself could not stay quiet. Angels tore open the skies, their voices ringing out to shepherds who were used to being ignored, used to being on the margins of society. The angel's message was clear: do not be afraid. A Savior has been born. Now think about who received this incredible announcement. It wasn't the kings in their palaces, or the scholars in their libraries, or the wealthy in their fine homes. God sent the very first birth announcement to ordinary, working people. He did this to declare a powerful and eternal truth. God's love does not discriminate. It doesn't care about your status, your wealth, or your background. It's for everyone. The shepherds ran, breathless and filled with wonder, and they found everything exactly as the angel had told them. They found a baby wrapped in simple strips of cloth, lying in a manger. They found love itself, wrapped in human flesh. Far away, wise men, guided by their knowledge of the stars and a deep spiritual hunger, began a long journey. They followed a single, brilliant star, traveling for miles and miles, carrying precious gifts. These weren't just gifts to honor a newborn king. They were gifts to bow before love itself. Gold, fit for a king. Frankincense, an offering for a high priest, and myrrh, a fragrant resin used for burial, a foreshadowing of the sacrifice to come. Even at his birth, love already knew the cost. Because, you see, Jesus was not born just to be admired from a distance. He was born to give himself completely. His birth was God's way of leaning down from heaven and saying, I see you. I know your struggles. I know your pain. I refuse to stay distant from you any longer. Love became human so that humanity could find its way back home to God. And this is where your story connects with his. This is where the ancient story becomes intensely personal. Jesus was born with a divine purpose, and so were you. He did not come into this world by accident, and neither did you. Just as Jesus carried divine love into a broken and hurting world, every single human being is born carrying something that heaven has placed inside them. You carry purpose. You carry value. You carry meaning. You were not born to merely exist, to just go through the motions of life. You were not created to wander aimlessly without direction. You were not designed to live a single day feeling unloved or unseen. The birth of Jesus is a powerful reminder that God does not create anything without a deep and profound intention. If God could wrap the salvation of the entire world in the fragile body of a baby, then He can most certainly place a divine destiny inside of you. Jesus came to show us what true life, abundant life, really looks like. It looks like loving deeply, even when it's hard. It looks like living obediently, trusting God's plan even when we don't understand it. It looks like serving selflessly, putting others before ourselves. It looks like giving fully, holding nothing back. So, as we celebrate this season, let's rejoice. Rejoice not only because Christ was born thousands of years ago, but because His birth proves that your life right here, right now, has incredible meaning. That humble manger in Bethlehem tells us a profound truth. God enters the world quietly, but He changes it forever. He enters our lives quietly, but He can change us forever too. So today, rejoice. Celebrate the birth of love. And remember this powerful truth. If Jesus was born to save the world, you were born to fulfill a purpose that only you can carry. Because heaven still celebrates births, and God is still in the business of birthing destinies. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores faith and purpose. We'd love to have you as part of our community. See you in the next video.